Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it's time for today's Pokemon TCG live online match. So, with the new Fates Collide expansion out, there are a number of new break evolutions. Of course, some EXs, other Pokemon, some trainer cards. But what I like to focus on initially will be the break evolutions, because I like to show the Pokemon that are not Pokemon EX that can still stand up and hold their own in battle. And the break evolutions are a great way to do that. You know, in fact, based on past experience, I'd say the break evolutions are sometimes more powerful than Pokemon EX. But I like using them anyway. So we're going to focus on Delphox BREAK this week. And not just Delphox BREAK exactly, but the new Delphox that's in the Fates Collide expansion as well because of the Psystorm attack. Without anything else being said in the intro right now, we're going to get right into the deck builder, and I'll show you what I've assembled for Delphox BREAK for this week's Pokemon TCG live online match. So let's take a look at the deck that I've assembled for this week's Pokemon TCG live online match, which I'm calling, yes, I've used the joke several times before, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. It is called the Flare Witch Project. Alright, so it is going to focus on Delphox BREAK with the Flare Witch ability, which says once during your turn before attacking, you may search your deck for a fire energy card and attach it to one of your Pokemon. Shuffle the deck afterwards. So I've got two Delphox BREAK in the deck. It's going to help accelerate your energy and get them out of the deck and power up your guys faster. And it's going to work pretty good with this Delphox from the Fates Collide expansion. Flickering Flames, decent attack, Psystorm, 20 times. This attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to all Pokemon in play. So it counts your opponent's energies, it counts your own energies, which you can accelerate thanks to the Flare Witch ability, and you're going to get some pretty powerful damage off with this Delphox. So there are two Delphox BREAK. I've got two of these Delphox. I've got another one as well from the X and Y base set, mainly for the ability, Mystical Fire. Once during your turn before your attack, you may draw cards until you have 6 in hand, so it's going to help you speed through your deck a little bit quicker. Blaze Ball is actually quite powerful as well, though, with fire energy. 50 plus, this does 20 more damage for each fire energy attached to this Pokemon. So this is all about getting as much fire energy out as possible. It's going to amplify the damage you're going to be inflicting on the opponent. It's going to be some pretty powerful stuff. Some fireworks are going to be fired off today. How many more times can I say fire? Anyways, I've got 3 Delphox. I've only got 2 breaks in, and I'll explain why in a little bit, but this is from the XY base set as well. Clairvoyant Eye would be pretty interesting to use. It lets you look at the top 3 cards of the deck and rearrange them however you like, so that at the start of the next turn, you'll draw one of those off the top. And I've got 4 Fennekin in here. So, the reason I've got 4 Fennekin and only 2 breaks in, yet 3 Delphox, you will see right down here I'm running some more rare candy this week. I have become aware of how good rare candy can be, and when you're speeding through your stage, from basics to stage 2 and getting into the break evolution, the rare candy can come in pretty handy. Now, with the breaks in Delphox, Fennekin, I've said that way out of order. With that evolutionary line in here, that leaves me with only 4 basics, which could lead to a number of mulligans, so I'm including a couple of more basic Pokemon. First, let's look at Deerling from Fates Collide. I've mentioned this in several videos where Find a Friend is actually a pretty useful attack. You get to search your deck for any Pokemon card you want, reveal it to the opponent, and put it in hand. That can help me find the Delphox BREAK if I need it, or possibly if I need to find breaks in to evolve up into Delphox. Deerling's going to let me find any Pokemon. I've got 2 of those in this deck. I'm including 1 Dedenne, mainly for the entrainment attack. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench, so that I can get the Fennekin out of the deck if I have trouble finding them using my other searching cards. Energy Short can be pretty powerful as well. 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to the opponent's active Pokemon. So that is going to be the 14 Pokemon in the deck. Scrolling down to the energy, we'll see I've got 10 basic fire energy, and in the off chance I have to use, I think it's Fire Tail Slap of Breakson, I've got 2 burning energy. If I use if I use an attack of the Pokemon that it has to be discarded, like energy has to be discarded, then I can use the burning energy, discard that. The special feature of burning energy says if this card is discarded by an attack of the fire Pokemon this card is attached to, attach this card from your discard pile to that Pokemon after attacking. Basically, you're not going to burn through your energy with burning energy, as weird as it sounds. So that is 12 energy cards. Let's look at the trainers. Now, starting with some energy retrievals, getting back some basic energy from the discards. There are some kind of hefty retreat cost on some of the higher Pokemon, so I've got an escape rope to help me switch around and force the opponent to switch also. 1 Evo Soda to help evolve Pokemon straight out of the deck. A couple of level balls to find some of the basics or the breaks in out of the deck as well. And to accelerate some energy a little bit more, I'm running 2 max elixirs. Look at the top 6 cards of top 6 cards of your deck and attach a basic energy card you find there to a basic Pokemon on your bench. Shuffle the other cards back in. So I can use the Flare Witch ability and the Max Elixir, getting 2 additional energy per turn, in addition to the single energy that I can attach from hand. Now, I want to try out some new cards from Fates Collide. Let's see if this one comes in handy. Mega Catcher. Switch one of your opponent's benched Mega Evolution Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon. If they've got something powering up on the bench that could possibly destroy us on the next turn, and I can take it out this very turn, Mega Catcher will be a good item to go with. A couple of Professor's Letters to find some basic energy, of course only fire this week. There's those 2 rare candy to help evolve the Fennekin into Delphox. A couple of Super Rods. I've said before, I've learned how useful these are when you're going to run a number of Sycamore in your deck, because if you Sycamore away some good cards from hand, Pokemon or energy, Super Rod will let you bring back any Pokemon or basic energy, up to 3 of them, shuffle back into your deck. And I've got a switch card, again for more, dealing with the retreat cost. I can switch without losing any energy. And I always like to run the Ultra Ball, Professor's Letter, and Energy Retrieval combo. I can play the letter and get 2 basic energy, play the Ultra Ball, discard those energy, find the Pokemon I'm looking for, and then Energy Retrieval to bring the energy right back into hand. And the final items are going to be a couple of Versus Seekers, bringing back a number of the supporters I'll be using this week, beginning with the Blacksmith. Definitely a good addition to any deck that runs fire Pokemon. Attach 2 fire energy cards from the discard pile to one of your fire Pokemon. You're going to see that works well with the stadiums I'm including this week as well. Now Bridget is here. I love running Bridget to get some basic Pokemon out of the deck. 3 of them go right onto your bench when you play Bridget. Lysandre, of course, you want to have at least 1. Switching your opponent's Pokemon around, getting a knockout perhaps, is definitely a good way to go. N has been reprinted in Fates Collide, and we're going to run with one of him this week. Both players shuffle their hand into the deck and draw a card for each remaining prize card that they have. I've got a Pokemon Center Lady for healing, Pokemon Fan Club to find 2 basic 2 basic Pokemon, and Professor Birch's Observations, Professor Sycamore, both to get a new hand of cards. Skyla is very good to help find any trainer card that you like out of your deck and put it in hand. If it's an item, stadium, or tool, you can play it immediately. If it's a supporter, you can play it on your next turn. Now the final supporter is Wally. It's going to help. Here's how this could actually work out pretty good. Let's say I have Fennekin in hand, a Rare Candy, and Delphox. I can Rare Candy into Delphox, and then I can Wally into Delphox Break on a single turn. So that might come in handy. Now I'm running 2 Scorched Earth, and this is really useful for a fire or fighting deck. Once during each player's turn, they may discard a fire or fighting energy from hand and draw 2 cards. That will work well with the Blacksmith, because once I've used that twice in 2 turns, Blacksmith can then attach those 2 fire energy I've discarded right onto one of my fire Pokemon. Now the 2 tools I'm including this week, I'm going to try this new one from Fates Collide, the Bent Spoon. Prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to. Anything like poison or paralysis, moving Pokemon around onto the bench, losing some energy, nothing like that is going to affect a Pokemon holding this Bent Spoon. The final item is the tool card, the Healing Scarf. If my Pokemon are taking some damage and the Pokemon Center Lady is nowhere to be seen, I can throw this on whichever Pokemon has the damage. Whenever I attach an energy card from hand to that Pokemon, I heal 20 from them. So that is the Flare Witch project for this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match. 14 Pokemon, 34 trainers, and 12 energy cards. Let's see how well we can burn through the opponents this week as we get started. Alright, ILY93 with the cool Break Zoroark hair is loading up the game. So let's see what they call for the coin flip. They're getting the choice. And looks like we lose the flip, so we're at their mercy of who's going to go first. And they choose themselves. Alright, so we'll get to attack on our first turn at least. And we do have a number of Pokemon to make use of. I'm not going to play the other Deerling just yet. If I find like an Ultra Ball or something, I can actually use that Deerling as a card to discard to find something a little bit more beneficial. Once I get one Deerling here, I can use that Find a Friend and start building up the bench. So you see Makuhita is the lead on the opposing side. Nothing yet on their bench. They're getting some more basic energy out right now, though. Actually, no, they're not. They just kind of used up the card. I have Shauna away for 5 new cards. Now, there's very little chance that they don't have any other basic energy in the deck. So I'm trying to figure what would the logic be of playing Professor's Letter and not drawing out the energy. Anyway, we find Scorched Earth. Definitely a good card to have gotten. I can use that ability right now, get rid of the fire energy, and draw 2 more cards. We find N. So I think I'm going to put this to the Deerling. I'm actually going to N away right now. There's a good chance we'll find another basic off of these 6 cards. We actually find the Fennekin. Alright, so I gave my opponent 6 new cards as well, which could possibly be detrimental, but we don't know for sure. I'm going to level ball for another Fennekin. We'll go with this one, with a basic Will-O-Wisp for 20. And I can use the Find a Friend now. I'm going to find one of the Delphox. I'm going to find the one with Mystical Fire. Sorry, yeah, Delphox. I'm not super familiar with the names of all the Kalos starters. I should be by now, but every time I say Delphox, I I second guess it and I think, do I mean Braixen? No, I meant Delphox. So what I'm going to be able to do in 2 more turns, ooh, Malamar-EX. The challenge is now on. They can go for the Strength for 40 unless they can evolve Makuhita, which they might do once they Sycamore away and get 7 new cards. Do they have the evolution? I'm pretty sure, no they don't actually, but I'm pretty sure Hariyama would have the power to take Deerling down in a single hit. Alright, so I was kind of hoping for a rare candy, but since we didn't find that, I'm just going to evolve into Braixen right now. And what do we have in here? We're going to N. I don't want to get rid of anything just yet. I want to wait until next turn to get that Delphox in play. We're going to Find a Friend once more. And let's go for another Braixen. So we are about to lose the Deerling, but Deerling has done its job, helping to find some Pokemon out of the deck. And that was like 2 turns, I think, for searching. That's not too bad. It's basically 2 free use of an Ultra Ball kind of thing. You're not losing any cards, you're just ending your turn with the attack. We have a Groudon-EX, so we have our work cut out for us against all of these Pokemon EX. Of course, the Malamar-EX can do the, what's it called? Some sort of a sleep effect. Hyper-Hypnosis. And they're discarding again. So they've gone through half of their deck already. Normally that might be a bit of a worry spot for if you're doing that, but if you have the right cards to make use of, then you can go through half your deck on like a single turn and you're set up to just destroy the opponent. So despite the fact that they've gone through half the deck, they're in a pretty good spot with their setup right now. So the Great Ball, they can choose a Pokemon from the top 7 cards and put it in hand. They actually find a Landorus with the Shout of Power. Now, I wonder if they don't have that much basic energy. This could be focusing on special energy like Strong or Double Colorless, in which case they're not going to be able to make use of the Scorched Earth like I am. So there is the Strength attack. Down goes the Deerling. I think I'm going to let one of the Fennekin fall. So I'm not quite set up just yet to do what I want to do. So we have an Evo Soda. I'm going to evolve the Braixen here. I'm going to evolve the Delphox. And how much fire energy is discarded? 2 right there. So we can actually go ahead and use the Blacksmith. Attach these to the Delphox. I'm trying to use up some cards in hand, so that way I can play the Mystical Fire ability. So I'm going to draw 3 more cards, put 6 in hand total. And find a Skyla, another Fennekin, and another Delphox. So that's all we can really make use of. We've already used both Braixen, so I can't evolve the Fennekin. I'm just going to end the turn and take the damage that's coming my way. What I would really like is a Lysandre to get this thing up here. Because they're just going to keep powering that up and going for the Maximar attack. But fortunately, I do have the Evo Soda in hand. I can get a Delphox Break in play. And there they go, discarding energy. Okay. So they do still have some basic fighting. I wonder why exactly they didn't use any, or draw any with that Professor's Letter. And Strength almost brings us down, but Fennekin hangs in there with 10 HP, still sleeping unfortunately. So we have the Professor's Letter. We can first of all going to get a Delphox out. And now we're going to Evo Soda into Delphox Break. You see both of them are currently in the deck, that's definitely good. I don't want to play the Letter yet. I think now is the time. I'm going to Versus Seeker N back into hand. It'll give me 6 more cards to work with. It'll limit my opponent down to just 5 because of the remaining prize cards. And we find ourselves some options. Now we still have use of the Scorched Earth. I could use the Mystical Fire or the Flare Witch. In fact, I am going to thin the deck a little bit with the Flare Witch ability. Let's grab this Fire Energy, put it onto this Delphox. I really want to power up for that Psystorm. I'm going to put this onto the Delphox as well. Professor's Letter for 2 more Fire Energy. There's only 1 left in the deck. I'm going to be able to use the Scorched Earth and draw 2 additional cards. So you can see this kind of a deck really burns through the deck pretty fast. In fact, let's throw in Max Elixir out. Nope, no energy off the top 6, but that's fine. And we are just going to let the Fennekin fall, or should we? Yes, we actually will, because if they get another knockout, I can go ahead and Versus Seeker for N once more, limiting them to 4 cards. And the Malamar-EX gains another energy. I think the best bet. They're just going to Sycamore once more, so they're down to less than 20 cards in the deck. You find a Thundurus-EX. We got a lot of Pokemon EX going on here. If I could find that Mega Catcher, actually no, they're not Mega Evolution. I was thinking the ability of the new Omastar Break. So Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards, finding any Pokemon. If you have Primal Groudon, that would actually be pretty good. I could actually Mega Catcher you if I can find the item. But with that Ultra Ball, they search for a Pokemon. Question remains, which one will it turn out to be? So what do we have in the discard? We got 1 energy and 1 basic Pokemon, so I didn't get to see what you took, but I can't use the Super Rod to its full effectiveness. So go for the strength. There we go. I'm going to take a bit of a risk. I'm going to send up the Delphox Break. And the Malamar-EX could do a lot of damage to us. I'm going to go for the Mystical Fire, Flare Witch. I'm getting the ability mixed up. Flare Witch attaching to this Delphox on the bench. I'm going to attach this energy from hand. Actually, not just yet. I'm going to first use the Scorched Earth, discard this, draw 2 more cards, and now I'm going to Energy Retrieval, bring back those 2 Fire Energy. I'm going to be able to attach 1 to the Delphox Break, keep 1 in hand for the time being. I don't think I need to play anything else right now. I'm just going to go with the Blaze Ball for 110 damage. We claimed our first knockout of the match. One of our basic Fire Energy. So this thing could do 180 right now, if it gets all coin flips of heads, which is enough to knock us out. And they actually didn't give it energy, so they're not going to put us to sleep. Alright, so I think I could retreat next turn. How much will the Psystorm do? I would have 4 energy, they would have 4 as well. And 160 damage total. Okay. I was hoping for a Lysandre, but I think... Actually, wait, no, I can use the Scorched Earth first. Let's see what we find. Not a Lysandre. I'm just going to play the switch. I'm going to get Skyla out of here and find myself a nice switch card. I'm going to be able to swap my 2 Delphox around without losing any of the energy. Let's go right ahead and Psystorm away. Massive damage. Malamar-EX falls to the powerful Psystorm. 2 prize cards are taken. And a Scorched Earth and a Wally, so I can get another Delphox Break in play. Now what can these things do to us? Now we just took out 3 of their energy, which means I've just weakened my own Psystorm by 60 damage. And the Fighting Fury Belt, they're going to do additional damage to us. They're going to do the Headlock. Either 30 more damage, or they're going to paralyze us. The Groudon Spirit Link. Do we see Primal Reversion? Not just yet. But on the Tails, I think we get paralyzed with that? Yes, we do. Come on, Lysandre. Nope. But we do have Mega Catcher. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for the Scorched Earth first of all. Still no Lysandre, but we did get a Rare Candy to get another Delphox in play. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw a Burning Energy onto the Delphox here. let's use the Flare Witch ability. And there's no energy. Okay. I think I probably should have remembered that. Now let's Escape Rope. I can bring something up, and I'm going to go with the Delphox BREAK right here. Which Pokemon do they send up to sacrifice to the fire? Alright, we're carefully deciding which one to bring. It's going to be the Landorus. I'm going to bring Delphox BREAK up. I'm going to volley another Delphox BREAK into play. The one that has the actual energy attached to it. Alright, so we're going to go with the Blaze Ball, which won't yet do enough damage. So, do I have Fire Energy in the discard? I believe we do. We have two of them. I'm now going to go Super Rod. I'm going to shuffle in those two energy, and I'll go for the Fennekin, putting them back into the deck. And now I believe we can use the Mystical Fire. This one here. I keep saying that. Flare Witch. That's the name of this deck. Flare Witch Project. And mixing it all up. So that will give enough energy to Delphox BREAK to get a one-hit KO on the Landorus. So 2 prizes remaining. If they Primal Revert that Groudon, I can just Mega Catcher it up and do a massive amount of damage to it. We're going to bring the Landorus back up. So we are going to lose a good amount of energy because of this. But I do have that Versus Seeker. And bring the Blacksmith back. I believe I used Blacksmith already. There he is. And there's a strong energy attached to the Groudon. And a non-EX Groudon. Alright, so Headlock, they do paralyze us. And if anything I can do, I've used the Escape Rope and the Switch. We can't retreat because we're paralyzed. I think we gotta let the Delphox BREAK fall, unfortunately. But we are going to simply end the turn, letting them get this KO. On the next turn, now this thing has additional HP thanks to that Fighting Fury belt. So there's the KO. Alright, we lost one of our Delphox BREAK, unfortunately. But we still have one more remaining. And let's go ahead and bring it up. We're going to attach the Fire Energy from hand, and we're going to Versus Seeker for the Blacksmith. Where are you? There you are. So we are going to be able to put 2 more Fire Energy onto the Delphox BREAK. I haven't done the math yet in my head, but I'm just going to go for the attack of Psystorm. Do we do enough? We do more than enough. So, Delphox BREAK and the Flare Witch Project take the victory against a pretty EX-heavy deck. Not completely EXs, but it was a pretty intimidating sight when the bench started filling up there. And we find ourselves a token and a bonus wheel reward ×3. So that about wraps up this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match featuring the firepower of Delphox BREAK and the Flare Witch ability, and seeing how fast you can set up with energy acceleration and just the massive amount of power Delphox does with Psystorm. So, as I say, that wraps up this week's episode of the TCG matches. If there are any cards from the Fates Collide expansion you'd like to see me use for next week's video, leave me a comment down below, let me know which ones you want to see, and I'll see if I can assemble a cool strategy around them. If nothing else though, if there are no requests, I'm thinking I'm going to try Amistar BREAK next. A dangerous tentacle ability, but I really want to focus on the Amistar itself, trying to see what I can do with a fossil deck. As you see here, the Restoring Beam. Once during your turn before your attack, you may search your deck for a restored Pokemon and put it onto your bench. So normally, restored Pokemon like fossils are hard to get into play. The Restoring Beam should make that easier. The difficult part is going to be getting Amistar itself into play to start using that ability. So, that might be next week's video, but if you want to see something else, just let me know. Also, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the deck I assembled for this week using Delphox BREAK and the way the match played out and the strategies I included. And if there are any suggestions you have to improve this kind of an idea, feel free to leave that in a comment as well, so that anyone that wants to try to recreate this sort of a deck can take your suggestions and considerations into account when they're putting their own deck together. With that, I want to say thank you for checking out this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match featuring Delphox BREAK, and I'll catch you next time.